Before we start the class, let us take the blessings of the beautiful deities of ISKCON Mangaluru, Sri Radha Govinda Ji. Sri Radha Govinda Ji ki Jai. Is everybody able to hear my voice? Mataji, Durga Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
And you're able to see the screen also, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Very good. Thank you, Mataji. So we were supposed to okay. So we were supposed to start from Shloka 5, chapter 4. Okay, so let's start with 4.5. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Bahuni me Vyatitani Janmani Tavacha Arjuna Tanyaham Veda Sarvani Na Tvam Veda Parantapa. The personality of Godhead said, many births, both you and I have passed. I can remember all of them, but you cannot, O subduer of enemy. So here Krishna is saying, many births, both of us have taken birth together, but I remember all my births. Okay, and I remember your birth and I remember my birth. But you, being a normal human being, conditioned soul, you don't remember any of your past. But I, being the personality of Godhead, I remember everything. That Krishna is telling Arjuna. Okay. So 4.6. Ajo api san avyayatma bhutanam ishwaropi san prakritim swam adhishtaya sambhavam yatma mayaya. So Krishna is telling here, Ajo api, Aja. Aja means Krishna is saying, I'm unborn. So although I'm unborn and avyayatma, okay, avyayatma means my transcendental body. My body is transcendental. It is not like perishable. Okay, it never deteriorates. And what is Krishna saying? Bhutanam Ishvaro. And I am the Lord of all the living entities. Prakritim Swam Adhishtaya. But still, I appear in this material nature. Why Sambhavami? Sambhavami, and it is possible. How? By Atma Mayaya. By my internal potency, Yoga Maya. Okay, so here Krishna translation, Krishna says, although I am unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I am the Lord of all living entities, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. Okay. So Krishna does not have a material body like all of us, and he has this transcendental body. Though he comes into this material world, he comes with that transcendental body. Okay, so he does not have to go through the birth. I mean, like we have to die when we leave our body. We have to take another body. The soul takes another body. For Krishna's soul and body, there's nothing separate like that. Both are same. He's transcendental, spiritual. Okay, so here we can see the difference between Krishna and us. So Krishna's form is spiritual, transcendental, and our form is temporary. So once we leave this body, the soul passes on into another body. Okay, here you can see, right? We have what are the coverings of the soul, of the body. Okay, the outside body part of the body that we see is called the gross body. Okay, the thing that we can touch, perceive, see. So that is the gross body. So inside the gross body, we have a subtle body. Okay, which we cannot see. It is inside, and it is made up of mind, intelligence, and false ego. Okay, and inside that, I mean, inside the body, in the region of the heart, is present the soul. Okay, so all these three are together constitute our living entity, the human body. Okay, and we are controlled by Maya. So when we come into this Prakriti, originally in the spiritual world, we are pure actually. We are pure living entities, pure souls. But as we come into this material world, Prakriti, we are governed, I mean, like we are tied up by the three modes of material nature. So we come under the grip of Maya. And so because of these three modes, we act like how Maya tells us to act, pertaining to the quality of mode that we attain. So we act accordingly. But Krishna is the controller of Maya. He dictates Maya. You do like this, you do like that. She is a devotee of the Lord. So she does what the Lord says. Okay, so Krishna is the controller of Maya. Okay, so here we just see the summary, the differences, okay? Okay, so we can see Krishna and the conditioned living entity. So Krishna is eternal and remembers past, present, and future. So Krishna can remember all his past births, what is going to happen at present, and in the future, what is going to happen. He remembers everything. The living entity is eternal but forgets. See, actually, when it is in the spiritual world, it is pure, it is eternal. But when it comes to this material world, it is covered by this triguna. And it is, yeah, when you come into Prakriti, you get governed by these three modes, because of which you forget everything. You forget Krishna, you forget everything. Okay, so you are conditioned here because of the triguna. Okay, and second point is remember all births because body does not change or deteriorate. Okay, he remembers, Krishna remembers all his past births because he doesn't change his body. There's no difference between Krishna's body and soul. Okay, but we forget everything. See, we don't know, we don't remember. As soon as we leave this body and take some other body, we don't remember what happened in our previous birth. Now, do we remember what, I mean, like, do we know what we were in our previous birth? No, right? So we can't remember. We are not like Krishna. So Krishna being God, he knows everything, the present, past, future, everything. But we do not know everything. We, in fact, don't know what happened exactly yesterday. So if I asked what exactly you were doing yesterday at 10 o'clock. So it's like it takes some time. We scratch our head. We don't remember exactly what we were doing at that time. Forget about previous births. Yeah. So Krishna appears by his own will. So when Krishna comes to this material world, it is not by karmic reaction or karma that he has to take birth in a mother's womb and come and live. No, he chooses his own parents, and by his will he appears. Like we saw the Devaki and Vasudeva, and that too he didn't come like in the like how material children are born. He doesn't come like that, right? He comes he's transferred from the heart of Vasudev to the heart of Devaki, and from the heart of Devaki to the womb of Devaki. And then he comes out in the form of, he appears as a Vishnu with his four-handed form. Then on the request of his parents, then he becomes a two-handed, comes to the two-handed Krishna form. So he appears by his own will. Whenever he wants, wherever he wants, however he wants, he'll come. It's by his own will. But we are forced to appear by karma. So we do some bad karma or good karma, depending on what we do. We take birth. We are given a new body based on our karma, the work that we do, that the reactions that we get, good or bad. And Krishna's body is transcendental, so it's spiritual, transcendental, Sachidananda Swarupa. Okay, and our body is material. So it is made up of these gross elements: earth, water, ether, fire, air, and subtle body is like mind, intelligence, false ego. So it is made of these 8 elements. Okay. And there is no Krishna, there is no difference between the body and self. So there is no difference. Both are spiritual, body and soul, both are spiritual. And the soul acquires an external body depending on what karma that we do. Okay, we get a gross and a subtle body. When we leave this body, we move to a new body depending on a karmic reaction. So our soul and body too, both are different. Okay. So here they are telling Krishna about Krishna. Lord's Prakriti is what? Nature, the material nature, and Swarupa means his form. Okay, so the Lord appears in his own eternal body, two-handed with flute. Okay, here he comes into this material world with his two-handed Krishna form with flute. So common living entity changes from one body to another. Okay, so common living entity is like is a conditioned soul. So depending on his karma, he changes from the soul changes from one body to another. So although his body does not deteriorate like a material body, it still appears that Lord Krishna goes from childhood to boyhood and from boyhood to youth, but astonishingly enough, he never ages beyond youth. Okay, so though Krishna it appears, I mean, it's just his Leela. It is just showing that it appears that he is growing like a material child, like from boyhood, from childhood to boyhood, youthhood, and everything like that. Okay, it is just his Leela to show, because he wanted to be like a normal human child, because he's not, didn't want to be in that, appear like God. He wanted to become like a normal child. So, it is his Leela that he's showing that he's growing as a child to boy, boyhood to youthhood, like that. Okay. But astonishingly enough, he never ages beyond youth. Okay. At the time of Battle of Kurukshetra, he had many grandchildren at home. So here we are, what they are trying to say is, Prabhupada is trying to say in his purport is, if you see that we, from what happens from youth to, we come to old age and then we dwindle and we die. But what about Krishna? So Krishna, he never aged beyond 20. It looked like as if he was 25 throughout. And we never see a picture of Krishna with a white beard or white hair or anything. He's always like Navayavanam. He's like yeah, full of youth, fresh youth. Okay, like a 16-year-old boy. Okay, even at the time of Kurukshetra, he had grandchildren, but then he looked like a person of 25 years of age. Okay, so Prabhupada says, still he looked just like a young man, 20 or 25 years old. So we never see a picture of Krishna in age because he never grows old like us. Although he's the oldest person in the whole creation, past, present, and future. Okay, neither his body nor his intelligence ever deteriorates or changes because he is Satchidananda Swarupa. He is full of knowledge, he is eternal, and is full of bliss. Okay, therefore, it is clear that in spite of his being in this material world, he is the same unborn. Okay, so though he isn't born in this, he comes into this material world. Some people they think that Krishna is like he is just like a normal human being, but with some extraordinary powers. Some think he is a great king, Kshatriya, and some think he is a great politician. But no, whatever it is, though he appears in this material world doing all these words, he is untouched actually. He remains God throughout. Okay, he is the same unborn, eternal form of bliss and knowledge. Though he comes to this material world, it's not that he has taken a human form with material ingredients. No, he comes in his transcendental form, which is Satchidananda, okay, which is full of bliss and knowledge and is changeless, and his transcendental body is changeless. Okay, because it's transcendental, and his intelligence also. We said Satchit Ananda. Okay. So 4.7 to 8 talks about Krishna's activities. So it explains when and why Krishna appears. Okay, reasons of his descent. Okay, so let's see 4.7. Yada, this is a famous shloka. Everybody knows it because, and it's a famous shloka because maybe because of the TV serials. Okay, yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bharata abhyutanam adharmasya tadatmanam srujamyaham. So, what does Krishna say? When does he appear and why does he appear? Translation: whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. So, what is Krishna saying? When there is a decline in dharma, in religious practice, in dharma, to establish dharma, that time I come. And when there is a predominant rise of adharma, okay, he comes to protect. Like here, you can see that Kamsa, he's trying to, he tries to, because Kamsa was creating, he was killing Brahmanas, he was not letting the religious sacrifices happen. So he was like, I mean, like killing all the cows, creating disturbance by establishing adharma. So that is the reason Krishna came to kill Kamsa, to establish dharma. Okay. So why the Lord appears and disappears in this world? See, although the Lord appears on schedule, namely at the end of Dwapara Yuga of the 20th millennium of the 7th Manu, in one day of Brahma, he has no obligation to adhere to such rules and regulations because he is completely free to act in many ways at his will. He therefore appears by his own will whenever there is a predominance of irreligiosity and a disappearance of true religion. So Krishna, whenever he takes an avatar, there is a particular reason why he takes that avatar. Mainly, he has no restriction that he has to come here now, he has to go there, go now at a particular time, he has to come at a particular time, he has to go. Not like us. Okay, we are destined for our karma. We have to be born to such and such parents, such and such time, such for such a duration, for this length, lifespan, and all that. Everything is decided for us. But for Krishna, it is not like that. He can do whatever he wants. He's independent. Okay, he is the independent Lord. So he therefore appears whenever he wants, and whenever he does his duty, he comes to execute his duty of establishing dharma. When he establishes dharma, then he finishes his leela. He then goes back. Okay, the principles of religion are laid down in the Vedas, and any discrepancy in the matter of properly executing the rules of the Vedas makes one irreligious. So, if you don't follow the principles of religion laid in, by the Vedas, you are what do you say? You are committing sin. I mean, you are punishable. So, if you execute whatever is said in the Vedas, you are doing pious activities. Okay. Therefore, the principles of dharma, that means you're following dharma. Whatever if the Vedas are saying, you're following that you're following in a dharmic way. Otherwise, you're going against dharma. Therefore, the principles of dharma or religion are the direct orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So these Vedas are nothing but they are given by by Krishna, Lord Krishna himself. The dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. Okay. The highest principle of religion is to surrender to God. So what does Krishna say? The essence, what is the essence of the Vedas? Is to know him. Essence of the Vedas is to know him. Generally, we read the Vedas. Why? Generally, common people, why do they read? So that they perform some pious acts, so that they can, the maximum they know is going to heaven. So they perform these pious acts, the sacrifices, and they donate, they do charity. Why? All these are mentioned in the Vedas. They say that if you do this kind of sacrifice, you get this result. If you do this kind of yajna, you get this kind of thing. If you do this puja, you get this. So that is why people are more attached to the Karma Kandi section, the yajna, the ritualistic part of the Vedas. But the Veda, that's just a part of Vedas. But what are we supposed to know when we read the Vedas? That Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, so that is what we are supposed to know. And the highest principle of religion is to surrender to Him and nothing more. And whenever such principles are disturbed by the demoniacs, the Lord appears. Okay, so whenever adharma arises, the Krishna comes. Okay, and Lord Buddha, an incarnation of Krishna, appeared when materialism was, so one of his avatar is Buddha. So Krishna appears in the form of Lord Buddha. So he takes an incarnation. Krishna takes an incarnation of Lord Buddha when materialism was rampant and materialists were using the pretext of the authority of the Vedas. So Buddha, he came and what do you say? He didn't give importance to the Vedas because in the Vedas, sacrifice is given importance. Sacrifice of animals was given a lot of importance that time, and many innocent animals were being killed in the name of a sacrifice that is mentioned in the Vedas. So Buddha wanted to stop this non-violence. So he said there should be some way. So let them forget about Vedas and everything, Vedas, God, everything. Let all keep all these aside for some time. Let the animals, we say poor animals are being killed unnecessarily. There's a lot of non-violence. So to prevent this, he said, I don't care about the Vedas. I don't believe over the Vedas. Okay, so he removed the Vedas, the Vedic principles. See, Lord Buddha appeared in order to stop this nonsense and to establish the Vedic principles of non-violence. So each and every avatara, so there is a particular reason why Lord Buddha came. To eradicate this, he came. To eradicate the killing of animals, innocent animals. So Buddha, the avatar of Buddha had come. So each avatar of Krishna has a particular purpose. Each and every avatar or incarnation of the Lord has a particular mission described in the revealed scriptures. No one should be accepted as an avatar unless he is referred to by the scriptures. Here, one important point. See, nowadays in Kali Yuga, every roadside we find one person saying that I'm Baba, I'm God. They keep saying, but and he says that I am an avatar of Lord. I am this incarnation of Krishna. I am Krishna myself. So we should not blindly believe. We should just see. We should ask him what his name is, and is he in? If he is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam as one of the avatars, then only we should accept him as an avatar of the Lord. If he is not, then he is considered bogus. Okay, so that's why we don't accept any and every person as avatar of God. And some people may say that, oh, my father, from my grandfather's time, my father's time, we've been worshipping this person as God. And they feel so offended when we say that, what is his name? Then we tell that they tell the name. And then we see in the Shastras, his name is not mentioned, and we tell him that this is not true. It hurts his feelings because his faith is so implanted in that this thing, because his ancestors all worshipped, continuous, are doing the same thing, and he also wants to do the same thing. Now he's not able to digest the fact that this is not true. So he says, no, you don't argue. I will go. I don't like this. My grandfather worshipped him. My father worshipped. I will also worship whatever be it. I will continue. So they are like, they don't read the scriptures and don't understand blindly, because my father is following, my grandfather is following. Some odd person they accept as God and they worship him, for which there will be no benefit. Even he will go to hell, and they will also go to hell. The person they think is God will go to hell. They will also, for worshipping, they will also go to hell. Okay, so we should be careful before we choose anybody as an avatar. We should see whether that person's name is there in the Shastras or not. Okay, so Lord can manifest himself anywhere and everywhere. And whenever he decides to appear, in each and every incarnation, he speaks as much about religion as can be understood by the particular people under their particular circumstances. But the mission is the same, to lead people to God consciousness and obedience to the principles of religion. So Krishna, he comes, his mission is always the same. Whenever he comes, whichever avatar he takes, the main thing is he comes to establish dharma. He sees that everybody is religious, everybody is properly practicing Krishna consciousness, and are they obeying the dharma, the rules and the regulations of dharma? Are they following their practice? Are they able doing their duties per what is mentioned in the Vedas? That is his main intention why Krishna comes, to establish dharma. Okay. Sometimes he descends personally, and sometimes he sends his bona fide representative in the form of a son or servant, or himself in some disguised form. Okay, sometimes Krishna himself comes. Okay, and sometimes he sends his representatives, like Prabhupada has come, right? So Krishna requested Prabhupada to come to preach to all of us. Okay, he sometimes sends his representative like that. But the main intention is to establish dharma, whether we are practicing Krishna consciousness correctly or not. To see that Krishna personally comes or he sends his representatives. See, the whole purpose of the mission of incarnation is to arouse Krishna consciousness everywhere. Okay, so that is the main thing. Now, why does Krishna appear? So here we saw, right, why to establish dharma, he comes. Now, including dharma, he gives, Krishna gives two more reasons here. Okay, that dharma was also included here. Okay, besides dharma, let us see what are the two other reasons. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samstapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So paritranaya sadhunam. So what? To deliver the pious. That is one thing he comes. Next, vinashaya cha dushkritam, and to annihilate the miscreants. Okay, to kill the demons. Okay, as well as we saw in the above shloka, dharma samsthapanarthaya, to establish dharma. Sambhavami yuge yuge. Krishna is saying, I appear in every yuga, millennium after millennium, I myself appear. Okay, so the main reason actually Krishna comes is to what do you say, to give pleasure to his devotees. That is the main reason he comes, because devotees miss him so much. So Krishna wants to be more with the devotees and give them pleasure through his leelas. Okay, so main reason he comes is to deliver. Anyway, he thinks that, okay, anyway, I've come to deliver the pious, to be with the devotees, to give them pleasure. So let me do this also, anyways. Because to kill the demons, Krishna doesn't have to personally come. He can send anybody, or we can, within his mind, if he can think, I mean, like to kill Kamsa, he does not have to come all the way from Goloka and kill him. With one instinct in his mind, if he thinks if he gives a heart attack to Kamsa, he will die. Right? He does not have to struggle so much. But he thinks, I mean, anyway, I'm coming to have enjoy pastimes with my devotees. And so let me do this also side by side. What is there like that? Okay, but the main thing is he comes to have pastimes with his devotees, to give pleasure through his leelas to the devotees. Side by side, he does these establishing dharma and everything. The Lord appears in different incarnations to deliver the devotee and vanquish the demon miscreants. The demon harasses the devotee, even though the latter may happen to be his kin. Although Prahlad Maharaj was the son of Hiranyakashipu, he was nonetheless persecuted by his father. And we saw, right, Prahlad Maharaj, how by his own father he was tortured because he was worshipping Lord Narayana. Okay, by his own father. And although Devaki, the mother of Krishna, was the sister of Kamsa, she and her husband Devaki they were like prisoned, because when Kamsa heard that the 8th child of Devaki would kill him, so he got terrified and he put Vasudeva and Devaki in jail. So they don't give importance to relationships, nothing like that. They are more worried about their enjoyment, their things. Okay. Such incarnations are situated in the spiritual world, the kingdom of God. When they descend to the material creation, they assume the name Avatara. So actually, these different incarnations like Narsimhadev, Lord Rama, Lord Narayana, they're actually there. They have their dhamas over in the spiritual world. But when they come to the material world, it appears that they come in the form of avatars. Actually, they are already there in the spiritual world. They have this separate dhams, their place where they live. But when they come to the material world, they come as an avatar of the Lord. Okay, with a name. It's not that after Narsimhadev does his avatar, he's forever vanished and he goes away. No, he has his abode, like spiritual, like Krishna has Goloka, Narsimhadev has his abode, Lord Rama has his abode. Okay, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has his abode. Okay, Narayana has his abode. Like that. They have their own abodes in the spiritual world. But when they come to the material world, they come as in the form of an avatar. Okay, so there are various kinds of avatars, such as we know the Purusha avatars, Guna avatars, Leela avatars, Shaktiavesh avatars, Manvantara avatars, and Yuga avatars, all appearing on schedule all of the universe. So Krishna is the primeval Lord and the fountainhead of all avatars. So Krishna is the main, he is the avatari, and from him come all the remaining avatars. Okay, so Lord Sri Krishna descends for the specific purpose of mitigating the anxieties of the pure devotees who are very anxious to see him in his original Vrindavan pastimes. Therefore, the prime purpose of prime purpose of Krishna Avatara is to satisfy his unalloyed devotees. So he comes mainly to satisfy his devotees, to give pleasure to his devotees. So the incarnation in the age of Kali is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who spread the worship of Krishna by the Sankirtana movement, chanting of the holy names, okay, and spread Krishna consciousness. This avatara of the Lord does not kill the miscreants. So he does not carry any weapon in hand to kill demons. Only the weapon that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu carries is the Sankirtan Yagna, the chanting of the holy names, through which he kills all the demons, the impurities that are there in our heart. And by chanting this mantra, it gives rise to love of Krishna. Okay. The avatar of the Lord does not kill the miscreants, but delivers them by his causeless mercy. Okay. Actually, more than Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very merciful. That is why when we chant this Panchatattva mantra before chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, because the Hare Krishna mantra is very powerful. You know, if you commit, and when we are chanting, our mind wanders this side, that side. We have actually Hare Krishna mantra is we are calling Krishna. And when we call someone, we are supposed to give our full attention, right? But what do? Our mind wanders. Sometimes we sleep, we talk, we go here, we go there, we do this work, that work. In between, we see the cell phone. So we are doing so many offenses. But when we chant the Panchatattva mantra, we pray to the Panchatattva that please, we commit so many offenses. You are so merciful. When we chant the Panchatattva mantra, they are very forgiving. So they forgive us from all these offenses. That's why when chanting, before chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, we chant the Panchatattva mantra. That is Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vats Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Okay, then we say Hare Krishna mantra. Okay. So, what is the benefit of knowing Krishna's appearance and activities? So, what will happen if we know? We all may think, why should I know about Krishna's birth? What will I get? Why are you so exaggerating? Why should I know all this? Okay, so there, Krishna is telling what is the benefit if you know about if you know about Krishna's appearance and activities, his leelas. So in 4.9, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatvatah tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti so Arjuna. So translation, one who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. So here, generally, what do people think Krishna is like when he comes to this material world? They think he's a material person, a normal king or normal politician, or a normal person with some extra powers. That's it. They just consider him to be a normal material person because Krishna comes with his two hands, right? If he would have at least come with four hands in his Vishnu form, oh, they would have thought, okay, this is Narayana, Vishnu, four-handed, something extraordinary than the normal human people. But with two hands, though Krishna is God, because he appears like the common people, human being, comes as a human being, they mistake him. So that's why Krishna is telling those who recognize his transcendental nature, in the sense, those who recognize he's God, he's spiritual in nature, right? And those who know that the leelas that he's doing are not ordinary activities. Okay, and they are spiritual in nature, and his activities. So if we know the appearance, the transcendental nature of Krishna's appearance and his leelas, if we think they are spiritual, then upon leaving the body, we will not take, what is the benefit that we get? Then we will not take birth again in this material world, and we go back to Krishna. Okay, so those who believe that, indirectly there Krishna is saying, those who believe that Krishna is God and all his activities, leelas that he does are transcendental, they come back to him. Those who think Krishna is material, nothing. Okay, so Krishna is saying, those who understand this, they will definitely come back to me. Okay, now this is a very important shloka and there's a lot to be learned here. Okay, Vitaraga Bhaya Krodha Manmaya Mam Upashritaha Baho Gnana Tapasa Bhuta Madbhavamagata. So, translation, being freed from attachment, fear, and anger, being fully absorbed in me, and taking refuge in me, many persons in the past became purified by knowledge of me. And thus, they all attained transcendental love for me. Okay, so Krishna, he's talking about three particular persons. Okay, who are materially attached, who are fearful, and who get angry. These three types of persons he's talking about. Okay, and if these persons take refuge in him, I mean take his shelter, get absorbed in Krishna consciousness, then they become purified. Okay, and when they get that knowledge of Krishna consciousness, they come back to him. They develop love for Krishna and they come back to him. So let us see, like, why is Krishna saying, what is so special about these three people? Why Krishna is saying you have to give up attachment, fear, and anger? So let's see, like, why each person is like, what it deals with. See, the first person, like, people who are Raga, Vita, Raga, Bhaya, Krodha. Raga is attachment, Bhaya is fear, Krodha is anger. So first we'll talk about a person who is in Raga. Okay, a person who is very attached materially. Okay, so they enjoy so much comforts that they think, so they're very much into sense gratification. They're so materially attached. So they have everything, comforts wise, they're everything. They have everything on top of the world, everything so comfortable. So they think that they enjoy so much comforts that they think, why do I need God? Okay, what is the need for me to know about God? And why should I take shelter of God? Because he has everything comfortable, everything, all he wants, needs food, shelter, everything, comforts, everything is taken care of. They said, why should I think about God? Why should I go to God? Why should I take his shelter? So, what is the need? Okay, because they are so materially attached, they are not able to know God. Okay, this is raga. When you have attachment to this material world, this is the condition of the person who is too much attached to material. So he goes away from God because so many comforts. I have everything. So, see, if I don't have something, do I have to go to God and ask, God, give me this, God, give me that? So, this person is so materially attached, so he has so much comforts that he thinks, okay, why do I need to go to God first place? Why should I take his shelter? I have everything. Why should I? So he doesn't think about the concept of God. Okay, so he forgets about Krishna. So they are not able to know about God. So this is the first case. Okay, raga and bhaya. Second is fear. So what is this fear? Okay, why this fear? Okay, we'll see. So being in this material world, see what what a jiva does. Okay, he tries to fulfill his desires, but are his desires being fulfilled? Are all our desires being fulfilled? No, right? So, with the body that we have, we are suffering many pains. So we all are suffering, right? With this body, we have many pains, difficulties, struggles. So that is the reason we all have come to Krishna consciousness, right? We know that this material world is dukkhalayam, ashashvatam, and we want to get out of this world, and we want to Goloka, which is like Sachidananda, right? Full of bliss. So these people, they with this body, they understand that all our desires are not satisfied. In fact, we are suffering with this body. We are suffering a lot of pains, difficulties, and struggles. Okay, so that is why they think this body is the main reason. Because we have taken this body, we are getting so many pains. Okay, so when he's in this conception, someone like a devotee, I mean, like someone like us or a devotee, goes to him and tells him to do bhakti, and if you do bhakti, you will get mukti. Okay, then if you get mukti, you will be able to go to Godhead, and there you will be able to serve the Lord. Okay, to serve the Lord, you will get a spiritual body. So if someone tells him like this, to that person like this, he immediately becomes fearful. Oh my God, what? Again, I will get one more spiritual body? I don't want this body itself. This body itself is causing me so much pain. And again, after I die also, again after liberation also, you want me to, you expect me to again take a body, a spiritual body? So but he does not have the conception that spiritual body is different, totally, it is transcendental. It is not prone to suffering, pains, all that. He does not understand that concept. He thinks when we take a spiritual body to serve the Lord, he thinks that it is the same material body, like how again we have to undergo all these pains and struggles. So he thinks, no, 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 I don't want, now itself I'm suffering with this body. I don't want this body one again after I attain liberation. Okay, I don't want to again have this body again suffer pains. Okay, so that is why they say that God has no form. Okay, after mukti, these people are not interested in a form. Because if there's a form, it's like they have a body, right? With the body, they have experienced now in the material world pain, suffering, and everything. So again they are thinking, after liberation, again I will be getting pain. Oh, no, no, I don't want. So that is why, say, to serve the Lord means you need a form. So that's why they say God has no form. Even we don't want form. So we'll merge into God. So when we merge into impersonal Brahman, he will also not have a form. God also doesn't have a form to serve him. So he thinks that he'll be free from pain because he has no body, right? So that is what they think. Okay, so these people, they're not interested in a form. So they don't want to serve the Lord. Okay, so they develop their own philosophy. So mukti for them means getting, what they think is like generally mukti means getting another form. Okay, but what they want is like they want to go to the state of getting no form. Okay, so then only if they have no form, will there be no problems, right? So that is their intention. So they conclude God is impersonal, and from them, for them, God is the highest level of God is Brahma Jyoti for them. They don't go beyond that. Okay, so mukti means merging and becoming one with Brahma Jyoti. So they don't want separate existence, they don't want body, and they don't want, and they think God is impersonal because if God has a form, we will have to serve him. So we will also have to take a form. But they don't want form because they have experience in the material world that form is painful. So they say God is, we don't want to serve God. God is formless. We are also formless. We will merge into the formless. And if we have no form, we can't, no pains, nothing. So they are happy like that. Yes, this is their conception. Okay, this is the main reason behind their fear. So fear. So even after liberation, they think the spiritual body will also be the same like material body. So that's why they say they don't want a form at all. Okay, they want to be impersonal. They want to just merge even after liberation. They want to lose their identity. and they want to merge into the impersonal. Okay, and become one with God. Okay, so now this is, and that is why, you know, these people, because of this fear, and the main thing is like, what do you say? Because of this fear that after liberation they will get a human form, they don't have peace of mind. Okay, so that is why these people, you know, they say Om Shanti, Om Shanti, they keep telling. You must have seen many of these impersonal Brahmajyoti person. They say Om Shanti, Om Shanti, because they become so disturbed. They are fearful. Okay, they may get a form again, and again we have to, after liberation also we have to again we get pain from the body that we get. They fear, and that's why they keep saying Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Okay, to pacify themselves. Okay, so these are the second kind of people who go away, who do not take the shelter of Lord Krishna. So first raga we saw, right, too much attached to material things, so they God concept at all doesn't come in front of them. Here they go to impersonal Brahmajyoti because they fear, because if they have this body, they'll have to suffer pains, everything. So they say, we are formless, God is also formless, we'll merge into the impersonal Brahmajyoti. So they don't surrender to Krishna. Okay, that is second. Now third kind of people are like anger. We said like they come under the category of anger. So what is this anger? Why this anger? Okay, so in our initial stage of bhakti, we don't know what is like authentic and what is not authentic, authorized or what is authorized. We don't know. Okay, so when we don't know, what do? We meet some sadhu or someone we think, we go to someone who is spiritually progressed. Okay, there we go to that person sadhu, we listen to his philosophy, and for some time we listen. To verify that whether that sadhu or that person is correct, we go to some other spiritual group. And there one more different kind of philosophy will be told. Like that, he goes to different groups to verify which is correct, whether it is correct or not. So everywhere he goes, there'll be different tattvas, different philosophies are being taught. Okay, they will tell tattvas, I mean, what is saying? And these people, you know, they will tell whatever tattvas they know, all these people. Okay, they say God is impersonal, God is like this, God is like that, God has no form, like this, like that, all these they'll be telling. So the person learning to know, I mean, like he goes to different groups, because everybody is saying different things about God, different tattvas they are teaching and everything. And these people, in the starting stage, this person, because he's a neophyte, he's interested to know more about God. He will listen to each and everybody. It's not that it's boring for him, because he wants to understand God. He goes to many groups and he tries to listen carefully. But when he understands that when he goes to each group has a different tattva. Each tattva is different than the other. Okay, so to actually, you know, but to tell the real knowledge, all these people that he visited are not in parampara. Okay, so the real knowledge comes from Lord Krishna. So that knowledge they don't have. So these people, you know, besides not gaining real knowledge, see, they actually go and search for real knowledge. In spite of not getting real knowledge, they get frustrated and they get unsatisfied. See, going to so many groups, so many tattvas, and they come to, I mean, like they really become confused, and they what do you say? They become frustrated. So what is this? I mean, like I mean, like, does God have so many concepts, so many tattvas? They get frustrated, like they're not able to understand what to do. Okay, so this unsatisfaction, this frustration leads to anger. Okay, in anger, that person thinks, um, he thinks that, okay, this person is telling like that, this person is telling like this. Now, what is the truth? Which one I have to take is the truth? So he comes to the conclusion that There is no God. Okay. So he takes to voidism. Okay. There is no God. Okay. So he tells that I don't like what these people are saying. Each is telling the whatever comes to their mind. So I don't understand, I don't like what these people are telling. Okay, he comes to the conclusion that there is no God. So this is a very fearful situation. Okay, so in this state, he may also come to the this thing that he may even take drugs. Okay, so in that intoxicated state, when you take drugs, for that certain span of time, you you are in that blissful state. You are as if you are floating in air and you're something special, and you feel that bliss, happiness. So these people, they think that itself is spiritual happiness, that bliss that comes when they take drugs. They think that is happiness. Okay, but this is a diseased condition. Okay, so here Krishna is saying if we have raga, bhaya, krodha, we are in a diseased stage. And what does a diseased person do? He has to go to the hospital to get cured. So how do we get cured from this raga, bhaya and krodha? How? By approaching a spiritual master. Like how if we get a disease, we go to a doctor, right? So how do we get cured? We get cured by approaching a spiritual master. So he will engage us in devotional service. So because of when we engage all our senses in Krishna consciousness, we become freed from raga, bhaya, krodha. And then finally, when we do more bhakti, we progress in bhakti and we finally achieve love of Godhead. Okay, so that is why Krishna is saying we have to be free from attachment, fear, and anger. Okay, it's a very important shloka. So so whatever I've discussed, like the same thing is there in Prabhupada's. I mean, like in fact, it's Prabhupada's purport that we discussed. So material people attached to the bodily conception of life cannot understand or even imagine that there is a transcendental, imperishable body full of knowledge and eternal bliss as that of the Lord. See, that's why these materialistic people who are attached to this material world, they don't even think about God. Forget about whether God is transcendental, and they can forget. They can't imagine that God is a form and all that. Also, okay. So in the materialist concept, the body is perishable, full of ignorance and completely miserable. Okay, so we know materialist concept, body is perishable, it is full of ignorance and miserable. So for them, the Supreme Lord is non-existent and impersonal. So this is a fear that we discussed, right? The person who is fearful, for him, it is like he gets feared, like because he knows because of this body, he has so much pains, troubles, and all that. So for he takes the Lord as impersonal, and he also merges into the after he merges into the Brahman, and he also loses his form. Okay, that is what is being told here. So being materially absorbed, the conception of retaining the personality after liberation from matter frightens them. Okay, so knowing of the existence of a spiritual life that is individual and personal scares them or become persons. So they get scared. They'll again, even after liberation, they go to the spiritual world. Again, they become persons. They have a body, so they get scared. So hence, prefer a kind of merging into the impersonal void. Okay, generally they compare the living entities to the bubbles of the ocean. So we saw the third case, right? A third case is like voidism, the anger case that we saw, right? He is like he frustrated with all the tattvas. He says that there's no God and he goes into voidism. Okay, so generally they compare the living entities to the bubbles of the ocean. So these people they compare, see, bubbles, they merge into the ocean, they become one with the ocean. Okay, so they become one, so they don't have a separate existence, right? So that is what they're trying to say, impersonal Brahmajyoti. So this is a kind of fearful stage of life devoid of perfect knowledge of spiritual existence. Okay, so many unable to understand spiritual existence, embarrassed by various theories. This is the third one, angry people. See, they get to know many tattvas, many unable to understand spiritual existence, embarrassed by various theories and contradictions of philosophical speculation, become disgusted or angry, and conclude on everything being void. So that's why they become so frustrated and angry that they say there is no God. So everything is void. Okay, so such people are in diseased condition of life. To get free from these, so Krishna is giving the solution now in the shloka. What? You are now in a diseased state. So what? So what to do? To get free from these three stages of material concept of life, one has to take complete shelter of the Lord, guided by a bona fide spiritual master, and follow the disciplines and regulative principles of devotional life. So the last stage of devotional life is called bhava, or transcendental love of Godhead, that culminates in prema, the real love for God. So generally, they compare the living entities. We've seen this, right? Bubbles of the ocean which merge into the ocean. This is a kind of fearful stage of life devoid of perfect knowledge of spiritual existence. So all these are, they are going away from spirituality. They are in the diseased condition. So many unable to understand spiritual existence, embarrassed by various theories. So this we saw again, it's the same repetition, the angry case. Okay, so finally Krishna says what? Again, same thing. You have to take shelter of a spiritual master, and finally you will get love for God. Okay, so here, see, they are explaining about raga, bhaya, and krodha. So raga means what? Strong attachment to material life leads to negligence of spiritual life. Because of too much attachment, he thinks, why should I? See, I have everything. I don't have to ask anything. If I don't have anything, I have to go to God, ask Him. I have everything. So why do I have to take shelter of God? Why do I need to even know about God? So they neglect spiritual life. And bhaya, fear of personal spiritual identity. So in the person, even after liberation, they think that body has a the spiritual body is also like the material body. They think again pains, pleasures. That's why they get scared and they want to merge into the impersonal Brahman. Okay, they also want to become formless and they want to merge into the formless. And they give the analogy of bubbles in the ocean. We see that they become one with the ocean. And Krodha, we saw different tattvas, they get confused, they don't know which is true, what is a fact, and then they get frustrated and they get angry and they say there is no God, and they get addicted to intoxicants, accept heroin, and then in that intoxicated state, they float and feel all that. So they think that is spiritual happiness, spiritual vision. Okay. Now, section 2, 4.11 to 15. So here, applying the transcendental knowledge. Okay, so here, see now, see, by hearing about Krishna, many persons in the past became purified and attained love for Krishna. Perfect. Yeah. So that's why we are learning. We are in Krishna consciousness. We want to develop that knowledge so that we get purified, right? So here Krishna is saying, and it is a fact, many have heard and they become purified and they've attained love for Krishna. So they attained love for Krishna because this was their desire and Krishna fulfilled it. See, Krishna, whatever is our desire, he tries to act accordingly. So if you want love for Krishna, he gives that. So if you want something material, he gives you that. See, whatever you want, Krishna reciprocates accordingly. So that is the meaning of these 4 5 shlokas that we say here. That is what is being implied. See, now Krishna is saying here, see, because they wanted love of Godhead, I have given them, because they desired love of Godhead, I have given love of Godhead. Now, what if someone takes shelter of Krishna with something other than a desire to achieve transcendental love for him? So Krishna is explaining. See, 4.11 explains Krishna's reciprocation with such category of souls, like who don't want love of Godhead but want all material things. So what with them? How does Krishna reciprocate with them? Is what we'll see in the next shlokas. See 4.11. Okay. So ye yata mam prapadyante tam sataiva bhajamyaham mama vartmanu vartante manushyaha partha sarvashaha. Translation. As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pritha. So Krishna is telling here, see, everybody, like how they take shelter of me, surrender to me, accordingly I reciprocate. Okay, everyone follows my path in all respects. Okay, now let's see the purport what Prabhupada says. Okay, everyone is searching for Krishna in different aspects of his manifestations. Okay, he is partially. How is everybody searching for Krishna? See how some are searching. Krishna is telling he is partially realized in his impersonal Brahma Jyoti. Okay, and as the omnipresent super soul. So we know there are three stages of Bhagavan realization. Okay, the first is impersonal. First stage is called impersonal Brahma Jyoti, and second is Paramatma, localized Paramatma, and the third is the personal form is Bhagavan. Okay, so Krishna, if he wants to reciprocate, if that person wants to reciprocate in Brahma Jyoti form, Krishna reciprocates that way. Okay, he says, come enter into my transcendental lightning, effulgence. You want to enter, right? So you enter, come on. So that is how he reciprocates. Now, as super soul, if you want to worship me, okay, fine. You become a yogi, and in your heart, I will be present as Paramatma. He reciprocates. However, but in the Bhagavan form is worshipped by the devotees, is fully realized only by his pure devotees. So each is satisfied according to one's desire to have him. So however you reciprocate with Krishna, that is the same way he reciprocates. Okay, so in the transcendental world also, Krishna reciprocates just as the devotees want him. Not only here, even in the transcendental world, Krishna is saying, however, the other devotee wants to reciprocate, that way he reciprocates. Suppose here they say, one may want Krishna as supreme master, so another as personal friend, another as his lover. So Krishna rewards all the devotees equally according to their different intensities of love for him. Okay, so if he wants if someone wants to serve as a master, he behaves like a master. If someone has a friend, he behaves like a friend, and a lover, he behaves like a lover. Okay, he rewards them accordingly. So in the material world, to such personal service to the Lord, seen giving transcendental bliss. So in the material world also we see, right, all our Guru Maharaj, Prabhupada, they had such transcendental bliss when they were serving the Lord. Okay, when they were doing the personal service of the Lord, they get so much of happiness. Okay, it's not in the spiritual world. Actually, here also in the material world, when we do practice Krishna consciousness, we get that happiness here also. It's just a change in consciousness. For the impersonalists too, Krishna helps by absorbing them into his effulgence. So Krishna, those are worship his impersonal form also. He's ready. Okay, yeah, you want to get into my light, right? Okay, effulgence, come on. I'm ready. I'll take you. Come on. So like that. So 4.11, you see here. See, we have the picture of Krishna. So we can see that there are three levels of realizing absolute truth. One is Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. Okay. And who realizes Krishna fully? We can see in the picture below. It is the devotees. Okay. And now we see this side. Everyone is looking for Krishna in different aspects of his manifestation. So Krishna is the object of everyone's realization. So and again, Krishna reciprocates based on our desires. So if a devotee is a fruitative worker, like we saw, right, he becomes Yagneshwara. So what is like we perform all our prescribed duties as yagna, and that is considered as sacrifice. When we perform our prescribed duties per the shastras, that is a yagna. So that is karma kanda. So Krishna gives whatever we want. So he becomes Yagneshwara. And for impersonalists, he becomes Brahmajyoti. He says, okay, yeah, you come and merge into my effulgence. And for yogis, he gives mystic powers. Okay. And for devotees, he gives the 5 primary rasas. We know, right? Vatsalya rasa, all those rasas. Madhurya rasa, all those rasas. Okay. Mm. So Krishna is telling all these things like fruitative workers, impulsiveness, yogis, all these people, without coming to all these people, they finally have to come to the highest perfection. What is the highest perfection? It's like practicing Krishna consciousness. Okay, all our attempts are imperfect. Okay, we may have all these desires to get go into Brahma Jyoti and we be a fruitative worker and get something benefit, mystic powers, all this. But the highest is like you have to come to Krishna consciousness. So, what is the perfection? See, everyone depends on Krishna's mercy for success. Okay, and then all kinds of spiritual process are but different degrees of success on the same path, right? See, if a person who's worshipping the impersonal Brahma Jyoti, like he is also on the path, like that is also Krishna, right? But impersonal form. So he is nearing success, but they are different degrees, right? So that is the first degree. So when we go to a hospital, also there are different kinds of patient, right? One who's in the first stage of cancer, second stage, third stage. Okay, so like that. So here also in the spiritual process also there are different degrees of success on the same path. Okay, and here Krishna says akama sarva kamova. So what does this mean? Akama sarva kama. Even though you have desires, or you don't have any desire, or you desire moksha, for everything just perform bhakti. Okay, that will give you the desired result. Okay, performing that highest form of bhakti you perform, even though you have desires, don't have desires, you want moksha, you want anything also, you just practice Krishna consciousness. That is the highest. Okay, until then, they're saying without coming to the highest perfection of Krishna consciousness, all attempts are imperfect. Okay. So here we have the 5 kinds of relationships with Krishna. That is Shantarasa. Example, neutral attitude of devotee. Shantarasa, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur states that in Brajabhumi, the Yamuna river, so these are in Shantarasa, like the Yamuna river, the Kadamba trees, the cows, Krishna's cow herding stick, flute, all belong to Shantarasa. And Dasya Rasa is active service. Chitraka, his friends, Chitraka, Patraka, Raktaka are direct servants of Krishna and Hanuman. Sakya Rasa is, in this rasa, one feels that Krishna is my friend. So the friends in Vrindavan are Arjuna, Sudama. So, and even the 12 important cowherd boyfriends of Krishna are Sridama, Sudama, Arjuna, Subabu, Kusuma Sava, Mahabala, Subala, Vasudeva, Mahabahu, Lavanga, Stoka Krishna, and Dama. And Vatsalya Rasa is parenthood, ecstatic love of parenthood, including father, mother, and teacher. Example, Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj. So others include Mother Rohini, Balrama's mother, and then Devaki, the wife of Vasudeva, Vasudeva, the real father of Krishna, Sandipani Muni, Krishna's teacher. So Vatsalya Rasa. And Madhurya Rasa is the relationship with Krishna as the lover and beloved. Example, the relationship with Krishna of Radharani, Krishna's wives in the Dwaraka, and the gopis are in Madhurya Rasa. The conjugal love is again divided into two portions, Vipralamba or conjugal love in separation. Okay, and Sambhoga or conjugal love in direct contact. Okay, so we have these two types, love in separation and love in direct contact. And these are the different 9 stages of Bhakti Yoga. The first one is Shraddha. So when you come to Krishna consciousness, you have little bit faith that Krishna is God. Okay, so with that faith, you start your practicing your Krishna consciousness. You come into sadhu sangha, where you come in association with devotees. When you come in association with devotees, what do? You do third stage, bhajana kriya. You start performing devotional service. You start doing sevas. Okay, what happens when you practice devotional service? Anartha nivritti. Okay, all your unwanted, what do you say, the bad things that are there in your heart, they get vanished. Okay, anarthas vanish. Okay, but this is the longest stage. Like generally, all of us are stuck in this anartha nivritti. This is it may be a longest phase or depends, right? So once we overcome this anartha, we become nivritti stage, we come to a steady state where nobody can make us fall now. We are so firm in Krishna consciousness that we become steady. Whatsoever may come, how many, even outsiders, anybody come and try to pull you away from Krishna consciousness, you're steady. You're firm now. Now, Krishna, this path is the best for me. This is the only path for me. So you are nishtha, you are steady now. So you steadily practice, you do your sadhana, you get a taste. Okay, when you get a taste, obviously you get attachment. That is asakti. So when you have asakti, you develop bhava. That is love for Godhead. And the last stage is love, pure love for Krishna. Okay, so these are the 9 processes of devotional service. Hearing, Shravanam. The example is Parikshit Maharaj. Chanting, Sukadev Goswami, Kirtanam. He told the Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj. So Kirtanam. So remembering Vishnu Smaranam, Prahlad Maharaj. He was always, even though he was tortured by Hiranyakashipu, he was always peaceful and he was always remembering the Lord's name. Serving the Lord's lotus feet, we all know Goddess Lakshmi Devi, Pada Sevanam. Deity worship, Archanam is Prithu Maharaj. So praying is Akrura Vandanam. Okay, executing orders as a servant, Dasyam Hanuman. As a friend, serving as a friend, Sakyam Arjuna. Complete surrender is Atma Nivedanam Bali Maharaj. So he gave us everything, whatever he had. So impersonalists do not agree to accept the eternal blissful personality of Godhead. We saw, right? They don't accept the impersonalists, they don't accept the personal form of the Lord. They're more interested in Brahma Jyoti. So they cannot relish the bliss of transcendental personal service to the Lord as because they didn't want a individual personality. They just want to merge an impersonal Brahma Jyoti. So they can't relish that relationship with the Lord by serving Him. Those not firmly situated, even in the impersonal existence, return to this material world to exhibit their dormant desires for activities. See, those who do not even come to the impersonal Brahmajyoti, they again take birth in this material world because they have so many desires. They come back to this material world to fulfill their desires. So they are not admitted into the spiritual planets. They are given a chance to act on the material planets because they desires, obviously, they can't go to the heavenly planets. So they have to come back to fulfill their desires to this material planet. Okay, for fruitive workers, Lord awards the desired results, as Agneshwara we saw. And yogis who seek mystic powers are awarded with such powers. So all kinds of spiritual processes are but different degrees of success on the same path. Okay. So be it Brahmajyoti or Paramatma or Bhagavan, they are different degrees of success, but all are leading to Krishna slowly. Okay, they're all on the same path to success. Okay. Okay. So next year they're saying Akama Sarva Kamo Va Moksha Kama Udarati Tivrena Bhakti Yogena Yajate Purusham Param. That's what we said, right? So a person with higher intelligence, so whether he has material desires or whether he does not have any material desires or whether he wants moksha, what he has to do? Either case, Tivrena Bhakti Yogena. He has to do severely, sincerely, practice Krishna consciousness, Bhakti Yoga, Yajate Purusham Param. That is the highest that anybody can achieve. Okay? That is what they're saying. Now, next go to 12. Kangshantaha karmanam siddhim yajanta iha devata shipram hi manushe loke siddhir bhavati karmajam. In this world desire success in fruitive activities and therefore they worship the demigods. Quickly, of course, men get results from fruitive work in this world. Okay, so those who have material desires in this world, they worship demigods because demigods, we can satisfy them easily and we can see results immediately. So that is why these fruitive workers, they want immediate results. They worship the demigods. But who are these demigods? Okay, demigods They say many people, in this material world, they think demigods are gods. They think they're different forms of God, but they are not different forms of God. They are like gods, different parts and parcels. Then these demigods are also normal living entities like us. But Krishna has given them some extraordinary powers to control this material world. Okay, they are parts and parcel of Krishna, but they are not avatars or forms of God. Okay, it's not that I worship Indra and Krishna, both are same. No, Indra is part of Krishna. He's like a shoulder of Krishna, like something like that. Just he's a part of Krishna. He's a demigod. He's a living entity to whom Krishna gives a post. He gives them some powers to execute that task. Okay, to manage this material world. Okay. So the Vedas say Nityo Nityanam. So the Vedas say that God is one and all the living entities are many. Eko Bahunam. He is one and we are Bahu, many. Okay. He is maintaining us and we are being maintained. We are the maintained and he is the maintainer. These demigods are all living entities, Nityanam, but cannot be equal to Supreme God, Narayana, Vishnu, or Krishna. Okay. One who thinks that God and demigods are same is called a Pashandi or atheist. So we should never think God and demigods are same. Because many people, these impersonalists, when they meditate, they think they can't meditate on life for the same as a very large amount of time. So they tell these people, you can take all these people are gods, they say. Durga, Saraswati, Ganesha, Shiva, Brahma, Kartikeya, all. You can take anybody as God, they say. And then you remember that in form of the Lord and you meditate on that form, they say. But they are not gods. They are living entities with some extra powers, extraordinary powers given by Lord Krishna. Okay, so one should not think God and demigods are on the same level. Okay, so even the greatest demigods, Brahma and Shiva, worship the Lord. So we've seen, right, in many instances, Brahma and Shiva, they worship the Lord. Okay, Brahma, many times the Devatas and Brahma together they worship. When they have problems, they go to Vishnu. Right? We've seen many stories like that in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So Narayana, Vishnu, or Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, do not belong to this world, right? They are transcendental to material creation. They belong to the spiritual planet. Okay, the results, and whereas these demigods, they belong to the material plane. The Swarga Loka, the Siddha Loka, all these lokas are material lokas, right? Whereas Narayana, Vishnu, Krishna, they belong to the spiritual planet, spiritual plane. The results obtained through demigods are temporary, meant for less intelligent persons. So those who are less intelligent persons, they worship the demigods for temporary results. See, anything that you ask for the demigod is temporary because the material world itself is temporary. So anything that we get here also is temporary, right? So demigods are worshipped for temporary material opulence of this material world. See, we worship, why do we worship demigods? Because we want immediate results. I want a visa to go to America. Then we pray. Oh, we get. So once we get the visa, again, it's like that desire is over now. It's temporary, it's gone. Now we are after some other desire. Okay, so it's like, and even though if you are, you get everything, you're happy, everything, it's like you have to leave this world. This world itself is temporary. Right? You have to leave this world. Either you have to leave this world or that object will leave you. Either one has to happen, right? So demigods as well as their worshippers will vanish with the annihilation of this material world. So obviously, those who worship the demigods will go to the planets of the demigods, and the demigods live in the material planets. This Swargaloka is a material planet. So if one goes there, when the annihilation takes place, we also go along with, we also get annihilated along when the annihilation takes place. Okay. So here are the difference between demigods and Supreme Lord. So the demigods are always, they are worship supreme, and they behave like servants. Okay, and Krishna is like one, the supreme whole. Okay, he's supremely always worshipable. Okay, and the demigods are created by the supreme. Okay, and Krishna is the supreme creator. Okay, and the demigods exist within material nature. And where does Krishna exist? He's beyond material creation. He's in the spiritual plane. So delegated, the demigods are delegated with various grades of power to manage the affairs of the universe. And but Krishna is the supreme controller. And the demigods are subordinate to the will of the supreme. And Krishna is like supremely independent. And the demigods have material bodies, hence subject to birth, old age, disease, and death. Okay, so that's why you like here also in the heavenly planets also you are prone to birth and death. Though you may not have old age disease there in the heavenly planets, but you have birth and death. Okay, though the lifespan may be long, but still at the end of their life they have death, again birth, right? They have that. Okay, Krishna is like completely, he's because he's spiritual, he does not have he is not I mean like he is has a completely spiritual body, so no birth, death, old age, and disease. Okay, so he the demigods come under the influence of the three modes of nature, material nature. Okay, all the gunas, and Krishna is like above all these modes of nature, he's nirguna. Okay, eternally, Krishna is like eternally the same Supreme Lord because he doesn't change his body. But we, as soon as this body is over, depending on our karma, we have to accept a new body. Okay, so these are the differences between, I mean, sorry, the demigods, I mean to say, not we. The demigods, as soon as they finish with one body, they are transferred to another body depending on their karma, the consciousness that they have. But Krishna, since he's the Supreme Lord, he has this transcendental body which is never changing. His soul and body is the same. So 4.14. Chaturvarnyam maya shrishtam gunakarma vibhagasaha tasya kartaram apimam vidhi akartaram avyayam. According to the three modes of material nature and the work associated with them, the four divisions of human society are created by me. And although I'm the creator of the system, you should know that I'm yet the non-doer being unchangeable. So Krishna is saying that per the modes of material nature and the work, Krishna has divided four divisions of human society that we see in the triangle, right? So those are in the mode of goodness, they're called Brahmanas. Mode of passion, they're called Kshatriyas. And the mixed mode of passion and ignorance, they're called Vaishyas. Mode of ignorance, they're called Shudras. So Krishna is saying not on Janma, he's saying Guna. Okay, depending on your Guna, your it is your division is you're segregated, you're categorized. Okay, it's not upon if you're born as a Brahmana, you become a Brahmana. If you're born as a Kshatriya, you become a Kshatriya. No, upon the qualities, the guna that you acquire. Maybe you're born in a Brahmana family, but you have the qualities of a Kshatriya. So then you are meant to be a Kshatriya, though born in a Brahmana family. Okay, the qualities, the guna determines the work that you do. Okay. So let's see here, 4.13. The Lord created the four social divisions with the intelligent class of men. Brahmanas, situated in the mode of goodness. Kshatriyas, the administrative class, situated in the mode of passion. Vaishyas, the mercantile men, situated in the mixed modes of passion and ignorance. And the Shudras, or laborer class, are situated in the mode of ignorance. Okay, this we saw. So Lord Krishna does not belong to any of these divisions because as he is not conditioned soul. So that's what Krishna says in this sloka. So he does not belong to any of these divisions. So these divisions are for people who are with the modes. See, per the mode, they get a type of division. But Krishna is like above these modes. He is nirguna. So he does not belong to this category at all. Okay? As he is not a conditioned soul. So were created for, why were these varnas created? See, now in Kali Yuga, all of us are Shudras. So that is why there is this chaos and confusion. We don't know what to that separate categories are not there, like brahmanas are not there, kshatriyas are not there. I mean, like all this classification is not there. Now everybody is a Sudra. Okay, so actually why Krishna has done all these divisions were created for the systematic development of Krishna consciousness to elevate men from the animal status. Okay, the tendency of particular man towards work is determined by the modes of material nature which he has acquired. So that's why we saw it in yesterday's shloka. Krishna was telling Arjuna, see, you are a kshatriya, so you are in the mode of passion, so you have to do your duty, so fight. So per their modes, they have to execute their duty. Okay, and why were these four varnas created? To elevate men from animal status to human, to as men. See, what do animals do? Animals need any classification like you are a kshatriya, nothing, right? What are they more? What do they want animals? I mean, like here, animal status means we humans are in the status of animals. That is what it means here. But what do animals generally do? They eat, sleep, mate, defend. So we humans are also doing that. So Krishna is telling to bring us from that animal status. We are behaving like animals. So to bring us from the animal status to the human status, like to elevate us to that position, he said that he created these four varnas, so that we can gradually, depending on our guna, we can come and practice Krishna consciousness. So that is why for each varna, for a brahmana, some rules are given in the Veda scriptures. So you do this, and then they will come finally to Krishna consciousness. For Kshatriya, they will say, you do this, your prescribed duties that is mentioned, and then slowly you get purified, and then you can come onto the path of Krishna consciousness. So like that. That is why these four gunas were given by Krishna. So a person in Krishna consciousness, however, is above even the Brahmanas. So yesterday we saw this, right? How Vishwamitra, he was even beyond a Brahmana. He became a Vaishnava in the end, right? So this is the same thing again. Chaturvarnyam is given in chart form, if you can see. See, so Krishna, we see, right? Krishna is the creator of the Varnashrama Dharma, division based on Guna Karma. And Lord Krishna does not belong to any of these classes because he's the creator and he's not a conditioned soul. And Varnashrama, what are the four dharmas that we have? See, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Right? And Vaishnava is obviously higher than all. Okay, because he does not belong to the modes. He is in the Shuddha Sattva, higher than a Brahmana. And we see that Brahmana by quality, is supposed to know Brahman, the supreme absolute truth, but most of them approach only the impersonal Brahman. So many of the Brahmanas, they don't worship the personal form of the Lord. They only approach God till the impersonal Brahman. Okay? And one who transcends limited knowledge and reaches the knowledge of Supreme Personality God is a Vaishnava. So even who is a Vaishnava? He crosses the impersonal Brahman and he realizes that God is Bhagavan, the personal form. So he is considered as a Vaishnava. That is the time when he starts practicing Krishna consciousness. Okay. So Krishna consciousness includes knowledge of all different plenary expansions like Lord Rama and Nrsimha. Okay, so all those different avatars of the Lord are explained. So Lord Krishna and one in Krishna consciousness is transcendental to all divisions of the society. So obviously, one who is in Krishna consciousness and is above, like pure devotees, they don't have, because they are on the Vaishnava stage, pure, they are Shuddha Sattva stage, they don't come under the material modes. So they are above, they don't fall. Lord Krishna and the pure devotees, they don't fall in this category of Varnas. Okay, Varnashrama Dharma. They're beyond that. They're Vaishnavas. Okay. So why was this Varnashrama Dharma established? Purpose of this system is elevate from animal status to human status. So we all are behaving like animals. So to bring us to this human status, these four Varnashrama Dharma was established. So people per their Varna, like if the Kshatriya, what are the prescribed duties he has to do per the Shastras, he will execute them and he will get purified. See, people could purify themselves by regulating desires. The process of purification for one whose material desires inhibits them from directly approaching Krishna. So, because they were not purified, that is why they were not able to come to Krishna. But when they practice this Varnashrama Dharma by by following what is given in the scriptures, the prescribed duties, they get purified. So they get closer to Krishna consciousness. Okay, so gradually, they systematically develop Krishna consciousness. So when purification happens, when you do your prescribed duties, you get purified. Then you get closer to, you slowly develop Krishna consciousness. Okay. So this Varnashrama Dharma was created by who? By Krishna. Okay. And he's the non-doer. We saw that. And he's transcendental to the most. He's Nirguna. What is this Varnashrama Dharma? It's a mixture of guna and karma based on guna karma and not by janma. Guna means the three modes of material nature, and karma means the work that we do, work associated. Depending on that. Why? Why was this Varnashrama Dharma created? To avoid degradation, because we all were humans, we didn't follow any dharma. We are behaving like animals. So to bring us to that human stage, this Varnashrama Dharma was brought. So at least we follow the Shastras and we perform our prescribed duties per our modes, per our guna and karma. And so that we can get purified and slowly start practicing Krishna consciousness. And these are the ashramas for Brahmanas. So generally a Brahmana, he becomes a Brahmachari, then a Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and then Sannyasa. And for Kshatriya, first he becomes a Brahmachari, Grihastha, and Vanaprastha. No sannyas for him. Okay. And then ashrama for Shudras, it's only he can become a Grihastha. And for Vaishyas, they can first become a Brahmachari and then a Grihastha. That's all. Okay. So 4.14 we see. Namam karmani limpanti, name karma phale spruha, iti mam yo vijannati, karma bhirna sapadyate. So there is no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. One who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of work. So what does everybody think that when Krishna comes and does work here, they think because of his that karma works, whatever action that is doing will give some result. So what do we, I mean, like in this material world, what all of us do, we do something with the expectation of some result, right? But here Krishna is like transcendental, no karma affects him. That is what Krishna is trying to say. I am not a material person like all of you. Though I am in this material world, this whole material world is created by me. See, I am not affected by any work. I am not affected by karma. So that's what Krishna is saying. There is no work that affects me. See, here in the pictures, we see that Krishna becomes a Sarathi, Ratha Sarathi, and Krishna once he serves as a friend. And then he fights. One work he does fighting with Bhishma, and he becomes a cowherd boy. So when doing all these, it's not like it's his duty that, like we say, right, in the Varnashrama Dharma, we have to follow our prescribed duties so that we get purified. No, Krishna is not in that category. It is for those who are in the modes, but Krishna is beyond the modes, right? So he has no karma. So there is no work that affects me, nor do I aspire the fruits of action. So there is nothing for Krishna to expect. He doesn't say, oh, because I'm serving Sudama, I have to get something out of that. No, there's no necessity, because the whole world is his. What fruits can he expect? Okay, so he's saying, now do I aspire for the fruits of the action. The activities that I do, I don't expect anything back in return. I don't expect the results. I'm not waiting for the results. So if I do this, I will get this, like that. No. So, but that's what Krishna is saying. One who understands this truth, I'm above all this. One who understands that truth about me also doesn't become entangled in the fruitive reactions of work. Okay. Although Lord is the creator of this material world, he is not affected by the activities of the material world. He remains aloof from the creation. Okay, so we saw this. So the living entities are entangled in the fruitive results of material activities. So see, the living entities, they get attracted to the fruitive results, but not Krishna. So because of their propensity for lording it over material resources. So which is not ordained by the Lord. Okay, which is not approved by the Lord. So the what does Krishna say? You do every work for me without expectation of results. But what are the living entities doing? They are working in this material world with expectation of fruitive results, which is not approved by Krishna. The various creations of the Lord include the demigods, human beings, and lower animals, all subject to the reactions of the past good or bad activities. So the Lord creates demigods, human beings, and lower animals. So all are living entities. So all these they take different janmas depending on their good and bad activities. That is karma. So here Krishna is saying, you people have karma. When you do some work, you have bad karma or good karma. But I don't have that. Okay, you demigods or human beings or animals, they have bad, good or bad activities, and depending on that activity, you get a new next body. So the Lord only gives them the proper facilities for such activities and the regulations of the modes of nature, but He is never responsible for their past and present activities. Okay, so Krishna, he gives, if you ask Krishna, he provides you that. Okay, so the Lord gives them the proper facilities for such activities and the regulations of the modes of nature. So, but he's never responsible for their past and present activities. See, now what you do affects your future, right? So, but Krishna, he gives you that independence, but he is never responsible for what has happened and what will happen. He provides these circumstances. It is up to you to decide depending on the modes. So you may have two choices. It could be a good and a bad choice. So Krishna never intervenes with our independence, little independence that we have. So it's up to us whether we choose the good or bad path. So Krishna is saying, I'm not responsible for what you do. Okay, the activities that you do. Okay, I give you all the opportunities, everything. Okay, it's up to you to choose. Okay, now here also Krishna tells Arjuna, he doesn't force Arjuna to fight. See, I've told all the Gita, now it's up to you. If you want, you can fight. It's up to you now. Okay, and the Lord is never partial to any living entity. He gives everybody rain, right? He doesn't say to Shudra, I won't give rain. He is not my devotee, I won't give him rain or light, water, air. He gives all these, right? Sunlight, right? He's not partial to any living entity. He gives everybody everything. The basic amenities that are required, he gives everything. A Krishna conscious person is never subjected to the laws of karma. Yeah, a Krishna conscious person is beyond. He's above the modes. So obviously no karma, because he's always practicing Krishna consciousness. And one who is trying to serve the Lord has no karma. He's like akarma, right? He's against karma. The created beings are of many varieties, such as the demigods. All this is repeated again. Okay. So let's go to 15. Evam gnatva kritam karma purver api mumukshubhihi kuru karmaiva tasmatvam purvaihi purvataram kritam. So all the liberated souls in ancient times acted with this understanding of my transcendental nature. Therefore, you should perform your duty following in their footsteps. Okay, this in Prabhupada's purport, he says, Okay. So here Prabhupada in the purport says there are two classes of men. Okay. So one who are like totally attached to material things. Okay. And the second person is one who is totally materially free. Okay. So Krishna consciousness is equally beneficial for both these persons. For whom? Those are full of dirt, like they are so much attached to material world, and one is totally free from all these attachments, material things and everything. Okay, so those who are full of dirty things can take to the process of Krishna consciousness for gradual cleansing process. Okay, so they can follow the regulated principles of devotional service and get purified. Okay, for them, Krishna consciousness is helpful. They get cleansed by the process of devotional service, who are materially attached. And those who are already cleansed of impurities, those are already pure, so they still can continue to act in Krishna consciousness so that they can set an example to others. Okay, so others may see him, oh, how blissful, how happy he is practicing Krishna consciousness. To set an example to others. Okay, like that. So, but foolish persons or neophytes in Krishna consciousness often want to retire from activities without having knowledge of Krishna consciousness. So, what is Prabhupada saying? Sometimes the neophyte devotees, oh, they are under so much of full of Josh that they fully don't know the concept. They don't have the knowledge of Krishna consciousness. They are so full of Josh. They are so active because they are neophyte devotees, right? They're very excited, they're very active, and they want to take brahmacharya or sannyas without the knowledge of Krishna consciousness. Okay, like how Arjuna, Prabhupada says, Arjuna, he wanted to retire from, he too wanted to go to the forest, right, and live by begging rather than fighting. Okay, which was not approved by Krishna. Okay. So here Krishna says to retire from the activities of Krishna consciousness and sit aloof, making a show of Krishna consciousness is less important. So our going to the forest and practicing Krishna consciousness, that is not, karma sannyas is not accepted by Krishna. Okay, who are the karma sannyasis who have full knowledge of Krishna consciousness? Okay, they are totally detached from this material world. They have full jnana, full knowledge of Krishna consciousness they have. And such people, because they have full knowledge, they go and they meditate on Krishna. But those neophyte devotees who don't have that spiritual knowledge, and they just, because just because out of that Josh, though they don't have that knowledge, they are so interested in taking up Krishna consciousness. They say we want to become sannyasis, we want to go to the forest and meditate, which is not at all approved by Krishna. Also, we saw he advised Arjuna to fight the battle thinking of Krishna rather than going to the forest and meditating on Krishna. Krishna is telling, this is better. You worked for me, remember me. You do your duty, remember me. And without any expectation of results. Okay, so that's what Krishna is telling here in this shloka. So, therefore, see, all the liberated souls in ancient times acted with this understanding of my transcendental nature. So, all of them got this transcendental knowledge and they acted on this knowledge. Okay, so therefore, you should perform your duty. So you also, like you, with this knowledge, Krishna conscious knowledge, you perform your duty. So your duty is to fight. So you get up and fight, he's saying. Okay. So Arjuna, Prabhupada is saying Arjuna is here advised to act in Krishna consciousness, following in the footstep of the Lord's previous disciples. Okay. So our main intention is to do what Krishna asks us to do. That is Krishna consciousness. Now Krishna is asking Arjuna to fight. So it's his duty to fight. So whatever Krishna says is dharma. So that we have to follow. If Krishna says us to lie, we have to lie. That's it. You don't see whether that is dharma, what is, oh, lying is wrong or not. No, whatever Krishna says is dharma. Whether he asks us to lie or whether he asks us to jump from the top or whatever, we are supposed to do. That's it. So that is what we have to follow. Okay. So that is what Prabhupada is saying. So Krishna is asking Arjuna to fight. So that is what is required for us. So Arjuna has to fight. Okay, so follow in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. They have done it and they've got liberated. The liberated souls have done this. So you also do, Arjuna. Krishna is telling. So I'm asking you to fight. So please fight. Okay, so this is, so today we'll stop here. So this is all Gnana till now we saw, right? So next section, understanding karma on the platform of Gnana. So that we'll try to see tomorrow. Okay, for today we'll stop here. Okay, so if anybody has any doubts, please let me know. Thank you, Mataji.